There are seasons when faith no longer feels strong or steady. What once felt like a source of comfort may now feel heavy to carry. Belief may still exist within you, but it no longer feels light or reassuring. Instead, it may feel worn, stretched thin by time, waiting, and unanswered questions. Love sees this clearly. Faith that feels tired is not faith that has failed. It is faith that has been carrying more than anyone noticed. You may remember a time when believing felt easier, when trust came naturally, when hope felt close, when faith offered clarity instead of questions. Now, that version of faith may feel distant. You may wonder what changed, or whether something has gone wrong within you. Love does not accuse you for this shift. Faith is not meant to remain the same through every season. It changes as you change, shaped by what you have endured. There are moments when continuing to believe feels more like habit than conviction. You may still say the words, still hold the ideas, but the feeling behind them feels muted. Love does not interpret this as dishonesty. It recognizes endurance. Continuing when belief feels tired is not pretense. It is persistence, even if it feels quiet. You may feel guilt about this tiredness. You may think you should be more grateful, more confident, more trusting. Love does not place these expectations on you. Faith is not a performance. It is not measured by enthusiasm or certainty. Faith can be real even when it feels exhausted. Sometimes faith grows tired because it has been asked to wait too long. You may have trusted deeply through seasons of uncertainty, believing that relief would come, that clarity would arrive, that something would change. When time passes without resolution, even the strongest trust can grow weary. Love does not shame you for this. Waiting has a cost, and you have been paying it faithfully. There may be moments when you question whether your faith is still alive at all. It may feel so quiet, so fragile, that you wonder if it has faded beyond recognition. Love sees what you cannot. Faith does not disappear simply because it no longer feels loud. Sometimes it becomes quieter so it can survive without being forced. You may notice that prayers feel different now. Words may come more slowly or not at all. Silence may replace expression. Love does not fear this silence. Silence is not absence. It is often the place where tired faith rests. You are not required to fill the quiet with words to remain connected. There are days when belief feels like effort rather than refuge. On those days, you may feel tempted to withdraw, to stop engaging with faith altogether because it feels like one more thing demanding energy you do not have. Love understands this temptation. It does not pressure you to keep pushing. It invites you to rest instead. Tired faith often carries disappointment beneath the surface. Disappointment that things did not unfold as hoped. Disappointment that trust did not lead where you expected. Love does not deny this disappointment. It allows it to exist without judgment. You are not unfaithful for feeling disappointed. You are honest. You may feel afraid that if your faith weakens, everything else will collapse. That belief is the only thing holding you together. Love gently reassures you. Faith is not the sole foundation of your life. You are held by love that does not depend on how strong your faith feels. Even when belief feels unsteady, support remains. There may be moments when you feel disconnected from your faith community, from words or practices that once felt meaningful. This disconnection can feel isolating. Love does not interpret distance as rejection. Sometimes faith needs space to breathe, away from expectations and comparisons. You may compare your tired faith to others who seem confident and assured. This comparison can deepen your sense of inadequacy. Love does not compare faith. It honors the quiet endurance that continues even when confidence fades. Your faith does not need to look like anyone else's to be real. Tired faith often brings doubt, not because you no longer care, but because caring has cost you something. Doubt is not the opposite of faith here. It is often a companion, walking alongside belief when certainty has worn thin. Love does not push doubt away. It holds it gently. You may feel ashamed of your questions, as though they signal weakness. Love does not view questions as betrayal. Questions often arise from longing for connection, not from rejection. You are not punished for wondering. You are not distanced for asking. There may be days when faith feels like nothing more than continuing to exist within uncertainty. Love sees this as faith. Faith does not always look like confidence. Sometimes it looks like staying when leaving would feel easier. You may notice that tired faith seeks rest rather than answers. You may feel drawn to quiet, to simplicity, to less effort. Love supports this instinct. Faith does not need to be stimulated constantly. It needs care. There may be fear that resting your faith means letting it die. Love gently corrects this fear. Rest is not abandonment. It is preservation. Faith that is allowed to rest often returns softer, deeper, and more honest. You may feel pressure to revive your faith, to make it feel strong again. Love does not demand revival. It does not ask you to fix what feels tired. Faith is not broken. It is weary. Weariness is not solved by force. There are moments when you may feel like you are disappointing God by feeling this way. Love does not experience disappointment with your tiredness. It experiences compassion. Love understands what you have carried. You may find yourself longing for reassurance that does not come easily. Love does not withhold reassurance to test you. It offers reassurance differently now, through presence rather than certainty. Tired faith often strips away illusions. Illusions of control. Illusions of guaranteed outcomes. This stripping can feel painful, but it also creates space for a faith that is less dependent on results. Love remains with you as this transformation unfolds. You may not recognize your faith anymore because it no longer feels the way it once did. Love invites you not to judge this change too quickly. Faith that survives exhaustion often becomes more resilient, even if it feels quieter. There may be moments when you feel tempted to give up believing entirely. Love does not force you to hold on. It stays with you even if your grip loosens. You are not abandoned because your faith feels tired. You may notice relief simply hearing that tired faith is allowed, that you are not disqualified, that you are not failing. Love offers this relief freely. You do not need to earn permission to rest. You are not required to strengthen your faith tonight. You are not required to renew it or explain it. You are allowed to let it sit gently, without pressure, without expectation. Faith that feels tired is still faith. It is faith that has endured. It is faith that has waited. It is faith that has carried you through more than you realize. Stay here for a moment. Let yourself stop evaluating your belief. Let yourself stop measuring its strength. You are not being assessed. Love remains with you not because your faith is strong, but because you are. There comes a point in some seasons when believing no longer feels natural. What once flowed freely now requires effort. Trust does not rise on its own. Hope does not appear without being summoned. Faith feels less like resting in something steady and more like holding something heavy with tired hands. Love sees this moment clearly. When believing feels like effort, it does not mean faith has disappeared. It means faith is being carried through fatigue. You may wake up already feeling the weight of belief before the day even begins. The thought of trusting again may feel draining rather than comforting. You may wish you could believe effortlessly the way you once did, without questioning, without bracing yourself. Love does not criticize this longing. It understands how exhausting it can be when belief feels like work. There may be an internal pressure you feel, telling you that you should try harder to believe, that you should renew your faith through determination or discipline. Love does not speak with this pressure. Belief is not strengthened through strain. When faith is tired, effort often increases exhaustion rather than healing it. You may notice that you still want to believe, even as it feels difficult. This desire itself is not insignificant. Wanting to believe while feeling weary is not hypocrisy. It is honesty. Love honors the sincerity of this tension rather than demanding resolution. There may be moments when you feel frustrated with yourself for struggling. You may wonder why faith does not come easily anymore, why trusting feels complicated. Love does not see your struggle as a flaw. It sees the depth of what you have endured. Faith that has not been tested rarely grows tired. Faith that has been tested deeply often does. When believing feels like effort, you may begin to overanalyze your thoughts, monitoring whether you are believing correctly or enough. This monitoring can become exhausting. Love does not require you to manage your faith with precision. You are not being graded on consistency or clarity. You may feel tempted to force belief, to repeat words or ideas until they feel real again. Love does not ask you to force anything. Faith that is forced often becomes brittle. Faith that is allowed to breathe remains alive, even if it feels weak. There may be days when you feel like you are holding belief together with sheer willpower. This can leave you feeling depleted. Love gently invites you to release the need to hold everything together. You are not the sole keeper of your faith. You are supported even when your strength falters. You may notice that believing feels harder when you are tired physically or emotionally. This connection matters. Faith does not exist separate from your body and mind. When you are exhausted, belief often reflects that exhaustion. Love does not separate spiritual struggle from human limitation. It understands both as intertwined. There may be moments when believing feels like effort because it has been accompanied by disappointment. You may have trusted deeply before and felt let down. This memory does not disappear easily. Love does not ask you to forget what hurt you. It asks only that you stop punishing yourself for remembering. When belief feels effortful, you may wonder whether it is still genuine. Love reassures you that sincerity is not measured by ease. Belief that persists through difficulty is not weaker. It is often more honest. You may feel alone in this experience, as though others believe effortlessly while you struggle quietly. Love sees how isolating this can feel. Faith struggles are rarely visible. Many carry them silently. You are not uniquely broken for feeling this way. There may be fear beneath the effort. Fear that if you stop trying, belief will vanish completely. Love does not confirm this fear. It gently suggests that belief does not depend entirely on your effort. Even when you stop striving, love remains present. You may feel pressure to maintain a certain image of faith, especially if others expect you to believe strongly. This pressure can make effort feel heavier. Love does not require you to perform belief for anyone. Authenticity matters more than appearance. There may be moments when believing feels like effort because you are questioning things you once accepted easily. These questions can feel unsettling. Love does not push them away. Questioning does not destroy faith. It often refines it, stripping away what was held only because it was familiar. You may find yourself resisting belief because it feels safer not to hope. Hope can feel risky after disappointment. Love does not force you to hope prematurely. It understands self-protection. Trust returns at the pace of safety. There may be days when belief feels like nothing more than choosing not to give up completely. Love recognizes this choice as significant. Continuing without enthusiasm still matters. Faith does not need to feel inspired to be real. You may notice that effortful belief often leads to self-judgment. You may criticize yourself for not believing better. Love does not join this judgment. It speaks with compassion. You are not failing because belief feels hard. There may be moments when you feel tempted to abandon belief entirely to escape the effort. Love does not threaten you for this temptation. It stays near, offering presence rather than persuasion. You are not forced to choose immediately. When believing feels like effort, it can help to release the idea that faith must feel uplifting to be valid. Love invites you to redefine faith as relationship rather than emotion. Relationships endure seasons of fatigue without dissolving. You may notice that belief becomes quieter during this season, less expressive, less certain. Love does not see quiet belief as inferior. Quiet belief often survives when louder expressions fall away. There may be moments when effortful belief feels pointless. You may wonder what it is accomplishing. Love does not answer this question with outcomes. It answers with companionship. You are not believing alone. You may feel relief hearing that belief does not need to feel strong to be held. This relief is not an excuse to disengage. It is permission to stop forcing yourself into a shape you no longer fit. When believing feels like effort, it is often because faith is transitioning. Old forms are loosening. New forms are not yet clear. This in-between space can feel uncomfortable. Love remains present during transitions without rushing resolution. You may notice that effortful belief makes you long for rest. Love honors this longing. Rest is not the opposite of faith. It is often what faith needs to continue. There may be days when you can believe a little, and days when believing feels almost impossible. Love does not rank these days. It remains steady through both. You may find that belief begins to shift from certainty to trust. Trust that does not rely on understanding. Trust that does not require explanation. This trust feels quieter, but it is often more resilient. You may still feel tired as you hear this. Love does not expect tiredness to disappear instantly. It simply removes the demand that you keep striving through it. Believing does not need to feel effortless to be meaningful. It does not need to feel peaceful to be real. It only needs honesty, and you have been honest about how hard it feels. Stay here for a moment. Let yourself stop trying to believe better. Let belief rest as it is without pressure to improve. Love remains with you not because you are believing well, but because you are. Even when believing feels like effort, there are seasons when doubt no longer feels like something that appears briefly and then leaves. Instead, it stays. It walks beside you quietly, present in your thoughts, in your prayers, in your silence. You may not welcome it, yet it does not go away. Love sees this clearly. Doubt that becomes a companion is not an enemy. It is often a sign that faith has moved beyond simplicity into something more honest. You may remember a time when doubt felt dangerous, something to push away quickly. Now, doubt feels closer, more familiar. It may arise without warning, not as rebellion, but as a natural response to fatigue, disappointment, or unanswered questions. Love does not recoil from this doubt. It does not view it as a threat. It stays present with you as doubt lingers. You may feel uneasy about the way doubt now accompanies your belief. You may worry that its presence means faith is weakening or dissolving. Love gently reassures you. Faith and doubt are not opposites in this season. They coexist. Doubt often walks beside faith when certainty can no longer carry the weight of lived experience. There may be moments when doubt speaks quietly, asking questions you did not expect to ask. These questions may not be aggressive or defiant. They may simply be honest. Why did this happen? Why did nothing change? Why does believing feel harder now? Love does not silence these questions. It listens. You may feel conflicted because doubt does not feel like rejection. It feels more like curiosity mixed with weariness. Love understands this complexity. Doubt that becomes a companion often emerges not from a desire to leave, but from a desire to understand what remains. There may be guilt attached to this doubt. You may feel that you should be more confident, more certain, more trusting. Love does not impose these expectations. Doubt is not a moral failure. It is often the language of a faith that has encountered pain without easy answers. You may notice that doubt shows up most strongly when you are alone. In quiet moments, questions surface more easily. Love does not abandon you in these moments. Silence does not amplify doubt because love is absent. Silence simply gives doubt space to speak. There may be fear that allowing doubt to remain will cause it to grow uncontrollably. Love does not confirm this fear. Doubt that is acknowledged gently often softens. Doubt that is suppressed often grows louder. You are not required to banish doubt to remain connected. You may feel tempted to argue with your doubt, to debate it, to prove it wrong. Love does not require you to win against your questions. Faith is not a courtroom. You do not need to defend yourself to remain held. There may be days when doubt feels heavy, when it drains energy and clouds your thoughts. Love does not minimize this weight. Doubt can be tiring, especially when it lingers. You are not weak for feeling worn by it. You may notice that doubt often follows disappointment. When expectations are unmet, doubt naturally arises. Love does not blame you for this. Doubt is often an attempt to make sense of what did not make sense emotionally. There may be moments when doubt makes you feel distant from others who seem certain. This distance can feel isolating. Love sees your isolation. Faith struggles are rarely visible. Many carry doubt quietly, even if their words suggest confidence. You may worry that doubt disqualifies you from being close to God. Love does not draw distance because of your questions. Doubt does not close relationship. It often deepens it by removing pretense. There may be times when doubt feels like the most honest thing you have. Love honors honesty. You are not asked to pretend certainty you do not feel. Authenticity matters more than assurance. You may notice that doubt does not always seek answers. Sometimes it simply expresses weariness. Love does not rush to fix this weariness. It sits with it, allowing you to be seen without needing resolution. There may be moments when doubt feels cyclical, returning to the same questions again and again. Love does not grow impatient with repetition. Healing and understanding often unfold slowly. You may fear that doubt means you are moving backward. Love does not see your journey in linear terms. Faith that allows doubt often moves deeper, not backward. There may be relief in realizing that doubt is allowed to exist. This relief does not mean doubt disappears. It means you no longer have to fight yourself to remain connected. You may notice that doubt sharpens your awareness. You become more attentive to what feels true, more cautious about what feels forced. Love sees this discernment as valuable. There may be days when doubt feels louder than faith. On those days, love does not withdraw. Faith does not need to dominate doubt to remain alive. Presence remains even when certainty fades. You may feel tempted to label yourself as faithless because of doubt. Love does not accept this label. Doubt does not erase belief. It reshapes it. There may be moments when doubt invites you to let go of simplistic answers. This letting go can feel unsettling. Love remains steady as old frameworks loosen. You may find that doubt makes your faith quieter, more reflective, less performative. Love does not miss loud declarations. It values sincerity. There may be fear that doubt will never leave. Love does not promise that doubt will disappear completely. Promises that doubt will not separate you from care. You may notice that doubt teaches patience. Answers may not come quickly. Love does not punish waiting. It accompanies it. There may be moments when doubt feels like an unwelcome companion you cannot escape. Love does not ask you to like doubt. It asks only that you stop fearing it as a sign of abandonment. You may realize that doubt often appears when you care deeply. Indifference does not question. Love honors the depth behind your doubt. There may be days when doubt makes prayer feel impossible. Love does not require polished prayers. Silence, sighs, and unspoken longing are received without correction. You may find that doubt reshapes your understanding of faith from certainty to trust. Trust that does not require answers. Trust that exists alongside questions. There may be moments when doubt feels like standing on unstable ground. Love does not ask you to stabilize yourself alone. Support remains beneath you even when footing feels uncertain. You may feel tired of carrying doubt. Love does not add pressure to resolve it. Doubt is not a problem to be solved immediately. It is an experience to be held gently. There may be comfort in knowing that doubt does not surprise love. Nothing you are thinking or feeling creates distance here. You may notice that doubt becomes less frightening when it is no longer hidden. Naming it quietly reduces its power. There may be moments when doubt feels like a quiet conversation rather than a battle. Love remains present in that conversation, listening more than speaking. You are not required to choose between faith and doubt tonight. You are allowed to hold both without resolving the tension. Stay here for a moment. Let doubt rest beside you without judgment. Let faith remain quietly present without pressure. Love remains with you, not because your faith is certain, but because your heart is honest. When doubt has walked beside you long enough, something begins to shift quietly beneath the surface. Faith no longer feels like something you must defend or explain. It no longer relies on certainty to justify its existence. Instead, faith begins to change shape. Love does not announce this change dramatically. It unfolds gently, as faith releases what it can no longer sustain and grows into something more honest. You may notice that the way you once defined faith no longer fits. Faith used to feel like confidence, like knowing, like having answers that steadied you. Now, those definitions may feel too narrow. Love does not see this as loss. It sees growth. Faith that has encountered doubt often becomes more spacious, less rigid, more capable of holding complexity. There may be discomfort in this redefinition. You may grieve the simplicity of what faith once was. Love allows this grief. Letting go of old frameworks can feel like losing something precious. You are not wrong for missing what once brought clarity. Faith does not move forward by denying its past. It honors it while allowing change. As faith is redefined, you may feel less certain but more grounded. This can feel confusing at first. Love invites you to notice the difference. Certainty relies on answers. Groundedness relies on presence. Faith no longer asks you to know everything. It asks you to stay. You may find that faith becomes quieter in this season, less expressive, less eager to declare truths. Love does not interpret this quiet as weakness. Mature faith often speaks less because it has learned that not everything needs to be resolved verbally. There may be moments when you feel unqualified to speak about faith because you no longer feel sure. Love does not require qualification. Faith is not measured by articulation. It is measured by honesty and openness. You may notice that faith begins to feel less like belief in ideas and more like trust in relationship. This shift is subtle but significant. Love does not require intellectual certainty to remain close. It values relational presence over correct conclusions. As faith matures, it often releases the need to explain suffering. You may find yourself less interested in why things happened and more interested in how to live gently within what did. Love supports this transition. Explanation does not always heal. Presence often does. There may be fear that without certainty, faith will dissolve into nothing. Love reassures you that faith does not depend on certainty to exist. In fact, faith that survives without certainty is often stronger because it is no longer conditional. You may notice that redefined faith feels more patient. It does not rush to conclusions. It allows questions to remain open. Love sees patience as a sign of trust, not indecision. There may be moments when you feel disconnected from expressions of faith that emphasize certainty and confidence. This distance does not mean you no longer belong. It means your faith is changing shape. Love does not exclude you because of this change. As faith matures, it often becomes more compassionate. You may feel less inclined to judge others' beliefs or struggles. Love moves through this compassion, softening boundaries that once felt necessary. You may notice that faith becomes more personal and less performative. You no longer feel pressure to appear certain for others. Love honors this authenticity. Faith does not need an audience. There may be days when redefined faith feels fragile. Without certainty, you may feel exposed. Love does not leave you exposed. It surrounds you with care, even when belief feels open-ended. You may find that faith now allows you to admit when you do not know. This admission can feel both relieving and unsettling. Love values humility more than certainty. Admitting not knowing creates space for growth. There may be moments when you feel tempted to return to old definitions of faith simply because they felt safer. Love does not forbid this longing. It understands how familiarity can feel protective. Yet it gently invites you forward, not backward. As faith is redefined, it often becomes less about outcomes and more about presence. You may no longer expect faith to guarantee specific results. Love does not remove hope. It reshapes it into something more sustainable. You may notice that prayer changes in this season. Prayers may become simpler, less structured. Love receives these prayers without correction. Faith does not require eloquence. There may be moments when redefined faith feels lonely. You may not recognize yourself in spaces where faith is expressed with certainty. Love sees this loneliness and remains with you in it. You may find that faith now includes rest. You no longer feel compelled to constantly engage or prove belief. Love supports this rest. Faith that is allowed to rest becomes more resilient. As faith matures, it often holds paradox. You may believe and doubt at the same time. Love does not require resolution of this tension. faith can hold contradictions without collapsing. You may notice that faith becomes less about control. You release the need to manage outcomes through belief. Love welcomes this release. Control often masquerades as faith, but trust does not require it. There may be moments when you realize that redefined faith feels more aligned with your lived experience. It no longer asks you to deny what you have felt or seen. Love honors integration over denial. You may feel relief realizing that faith does not require certainty to be meaningful. This relief does not erase struggle. It simply removes unnecessary pressure. As faith is redefined, it often becomes quieter but deeper, less dramatic, more steady. Love does not measure faith by intensity. It measures faith by endurance. You may notice that faith now invites you to live gently, not perfectly. Love values gentleness over correctness. There may be moments when you fear that without certainty, faith has lost its power. Love gently reframes this. Faith's power was never in certainty. It was in connection. You may find that redefined faith feels less like holding answers and more like holding space. Space for yourself. Space for others. Space for the unknown. There may be days when you still long for clarity. Love does not deny this longing. It simply assures you that clarity is not a prerequisite for belonging. As faith matures, it often becomes more honest about limits. You acknowledge what you cannot understand or control. Love meets you within those limits, not beyond them. You may notice that redefined faith feels quieter but more faithful. It remains even when enthusiasm fades. Love honors consistency more than excitement. There may be moments when you feel grateful for this new form of faith, even if you did not choose it. Love does not waste what you have endured. It shapes faith through experience, not despite it. Stay here for a moment. Let yourself accept that faith does not need to look like it once did to remain real. You are not losing faith. You are allowing it to mature. Love remains with you as faith changes shape, steady and unafraid, honoring who you are becoming rather than who you used to be. As faith is redefined and no longer depends on certainty, a new challenge quietly emerges. Learning to rest without answers. This rest does not come naturally at first. The mind still wants clarity. The heart still longs for resolution. Love understands this longing. Resting without answers is not indifference. It is a form of trust that grows slowly, especially after a long season of questioning. You may notice how deeply you are conditioned to seek explanation. When something hurts, you look for meaning. When something breaks, you search for reasons. Love does not condemn this instinct. It is human, but there comes a point when explanation no longer soothes, and the search for answers becomes another form of exhaustion. There may be questions you have carried for a long time, questions that have not received responses, no matter how sincerely you asked. Love does not dismiss these questions. It also does not rush to resolve them. Some questions are not meant to be answered quickly. Some are meant to be held gently, without pressure to conclude. Learning to rest without answers can feel frightening. You may worry that if you stop seeking, you are giving up. Love gently reframes this fear. Resting is not surrendering truth. It is releasing the demand that truth arrive on your timeline. You may feel uneasy allowing questions to remain open. Open questions can feel like unfinished business, like instability. Love does not leave you unstable. It supports you as you learn to live with incompleteness. Incompleteness is not failure. It is part of being human. There may be moments when your mind returns repeatedly to the same questions, hoping that this time something will click. Love does not judge this repetition. It understands how deeply you want relief, but it also invites you to notice when searching no longer brings peace. Resting without answers does not mean pretending questions do not exist. It means acknowledging them without letting them dominate every moment. Love does not ask you to forget what you wonder about. It asks you to stop letting unanswered questions define your worth or safety. You may notice that without answers, emotions feel more exposed. There is no explanation to lean on, no conclusion to protect you from discomfort. Love remains present in this exposure. You are not left alone with raw uncertainty. There may be fear that without answers, suffering has no meaning. Love does not say suffering is good or necessary. It says that meaning is not the same as explanation. Meaning often emerges through presence rather than understanding. You may feel tempted to force acceptance, telling yourself you should be at peace without answers. Love does not ask you to force peace. Peace that is forced does not last. Rest grows naturally when pressure eases. Learning to rest without answers often begins with acknowledging your limits. You are not capable of understanding everything. This acknowledgement is not weakness. It is humility. Love meets you within your limits, not beyond them. You may notice that resting without answers feels like standing still when everything in you wants to move. Love does not hurry you forward. Stillness has its own purpose. Not every season is meant for progress. There may be moments when you feel restless, uncomfortable with the quiet that comes when searching stops. Love remains with you in that restlessness. Rest does not mean immediate calm. It means allowing yourself to stop striving. You may worry that without answers, faith will fade. Love reassures you that faith does not rely on answers to survive. Faith often deepens when it no longer depends on explanations. There may be days when you feel stronger, able to rest with questions gently in the background. There may be days when the questions feel louder again. Love does not measure your progress by consistency. It remains patient through fluctuation. Resting without answers also means releasing the belief that understanding will fix everything. Love knows that understanding can inform, but it does not always heal. Healing often comes through safety, not clarity. You may notice that when you stop seeking answers, space opens within you. This space may feel unfamiliar. Love does not rush to fill it. Space allows rest to settle naturally. There may be grief in accepting that some answers may never come. Love allows this grief. Grief does not mean you are hopeless. It means you are honest about loss. You may find that resting without answers requires compassion toward yourself. You stop blaming yourself for not knowing. Love encourages this compassion. You are not responsible for having all the answers. There may be moments when you feel tempted to return to old explanations simply because they feel familiar. Love understands this temptation. Familiarity can feel safer than uncertainty, but familiarity is not always truth. Resting without answers often reshapes your expectations. You no longer expect faith to explain everything. You allow it to accompany you instead. Love values companionship over explanation. You may notice that rest without answers allows your body to relax in small ways. Tension eases slightly. Breathing slows. These changes may be subtle. Love sees them as signs of healing. There may be fear that resting means becoming passive. Love does not equate rest with passivity. Rest is not disengagement. It is restoration. You may find that when you stop searching for answers, you become more present. You notice what is happening now rather than what is unresolved. Love meets you in the present moment. There may be moments when you feel ashamed for not having answers. Love does not shame you. It honors your honesty. Not knowing is not a moral failure. Learning to rest without answers does not happen all at once. It unfolds gradually. Love does not demand mastery. It invites willingness. You may still carry questions as you rest. Rest does not erase curiosity. It simply softens urgency. There may be times when resting without answers feels like trusting in darkness. Love does not leave you in darkness alone. Even when you cannot see clearly, support remains. You may notice that rest without answers changes how you relate to time. You feel less rushed. Love does not hurry healing. There may be days when you feel peace briefly, and days when peace feels distant. Love remains constant through both. Rest is not something you must maintain perfectly. You may find that resting without answers teaches patience, not just with circumstances, but with yourself. Love encourages this patience. There may be moments when you realize that you are still held, even without understanding. This realization does not come with certainty. It comes with quiet assurance. You are allowed to rest here. You are allowed to not know. You are allowed to stop searching for a while. Stay here for a moment. Let your questions remain unanswered without being threatening. Let your body feel supported even without clarity. Love remains with you, steady and gentle, teaching you that rest does not require answers, only presence. As you learn to rest without answers, something else begins to surface gently within you, a quiet awareness of how much you have been carrying on your own. Questions, responsibilities, expectations, emotions, memories. Some of these were never meant to be held by you alone. Love does not accuse you for carrying them. It simply invites you to notice the weight. There may be a part of you that has grown used to holding everything tightly. You may not even remember when you began carrying so much. It may have happened slowly, one responsibility at a time, one disappointment layered upon another. Love sees how naturally this burden accumulated. You did not choose to be overwhelmed. You adapted. Allowing God to carry what you cannot is not an act of failure. It is an act of honesty. It begins with acknowledging that there are things beyond your capacity. This acknowledgement does not diminish you. It honors your humanity. Love does not expect you to be limitless. You may feel resistance to this idea. You may wonder what it would mean to let go. You may fear losing control or being irresponsible or abandoning something important. Love understands this fear. Carrying has become familiar. Releasing feels uncertain. There may be a belief within you that if you do not carry everything, it will fall apart. Love does not dismiss this belief. It gently asks you to consider how much has already been carried without relief. Control has not prevented exhaustion. Holding on has not brought peace. Allowing God to carry what you cannot does not require dramatic gestures. It does not require perfect surrender. It often begins quietly with a single acknowledgement. Cannot hold this anymore. Love hears this without judgment. You may not know how to release what you are carrying. Love does not require you to understand the mechanics of surrender. You are not asked to figure out how to let go. You are asked only to be willing to stop gripping so tightly. There may be burdens you have carried for so long that they feel like part of you. Releasing them may feel like losing a piece of yourself. Love does not rush this process. It does not tear burdens away. It invites gradual trust. You may notice that some burdens are emotional rather than practical. Guilt you have not resolved. Fear you have not voiced. Regret you revisit quietly. Love is willing to carry these as well. Nothing you feel is too heavy to be held. Allowing God to carry what you cannot also means accepting that you were never meant to manage everything alone. Independence may have felt necessary at some point. Survival often requires it. Love does not criticize your independence. It honors how it protected you. But protection does not need to become permanence. There may be a deep tiredness beneath everything you carry. A tiredness that does not go away with rest alone. Love sees this fatigue. It knows that some exhaustion comes not from activity, but from responsibility that was never shared. You may feel unsure whether you are allowed to give burdens to God. Love answers gently. You are allowed. Not because you have earned relief, but because care is offered freely. You do not need to justify your need. Allowing God to carry what you cannot does not mean your burdens vanish immediately. It means you no longer hold them alone. Support does not always remove weight instantly. It redistributes it. You may notice that letting go feels uncomfortable at first. Your hands may feel empty. Your mind may search for what it used to hold. Love remains present in this discomfort. Letting go is a skill learned slowly. There may be fear that if you stop carrying, you will become passive or careless. Love does not equate surrender with apathy. Releasing burden is not abandoning responsibility. It is recognizing limits. You may have been taught that strength means carrying everything without complaint. Love offers a different definition. Strength also includes knowing when to rest, when to ask for help, when to release what is too heavy. Allowing God to carry what you cannot often begins with trust rather than understanding. You may not know how things will be held. You may not know what will change. Love does not require clarity. It requires openness. There may be burdens you return to repeatedly, even after trying to release them. Love does not shame you for this. Habitual carrying takes time to unlearn. You are not failing because you need to release again. You may notice that when you release one burden, others become more visible. Love does not overwhelm you with this awareness. It invites you to release gradually at a pace you can sustain. There may be a sense of vulnerability in allowing someone else to carry what you cannot. Vulnerability can feel dangerous if you have learned to rely only on yourself. Love does not rush you into exposure. It builds trust gently. Allowing God to carry what you cannot does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop carrying care alone. You are not becoming indifferent. You are becoming supported. You may feel grief as you release burdens that shaped your identity. Love allows this grief. Letting go of survival strategies can feel like loss, even when they are no longer needed. There may be moments when releasing burden brings unexpected emotion. Relief, sadness, fear, or even anger. Love receives all of this without correction. Emotional response is part of release. You may notice that as burdens shift, your body responds. Breathing deepens, shoulders relax slightly, or tension surfaces before easing. Love works with your body, not against it. Allowing God to carry what you cannot also means trusting that you are not required to anticipate every outcome. You may have been carrying the future, trying to prepare for every possibility. Love invites you to release tomorrow for now. There may be fear that if you release worry, something bad will happen. Love does not confirm this fear. Worry does not prevent pain. It only exhausts you before pain arrives. You may find that releasing burden creates space. This space may feel unfamiliar. Love does not rush to fill it. Space allows healing to settle naturally. There may be days when releasing feels easier, and days when it feels impossible. Love remains constant through both. Surrender is not a one-time act. It is a practice. You may notice that allowing God to carry what you cannot brings a sense of being accompanied. You are no longer alone with your weight. This companionship does not always feel dramatic. Feel steady. There may be burdens you are not ready to release yet. Love respects this readiness. You are not forced to let go of everything at once. Trust grows through safety. Allowing God to carry what you cannot does not mean you stop making choices or taking action. It means action is no longer fueled by fear alone. Support changes how you move. You may find that releasing burdens softens your self-judgment. You stop blaming yourself for being tired. Love encourages this gentleness. There may be moments when you realize how much energy was spent on carrying. This realization can bring both relief and grief. Love holds both emotions. You may notice that as burdens shift, rest becomes more accessible. Not because life is easier, but because weight is shared. Love honors this rest. Allowing God to carry what you cannot also means accepting care without needing to earn it. This acceptance can feel uncomfortable if you are used to self-sufficiency. Love remains patient. There may be times when you forget you are not carrying alone. Love does not withdraw when you forget. Continues to support quietly. You may find that surrender does not feel like falling. feels like being held. This holding does not restrict you, steadies you. There may be moments when you still feel overwhelmed. Love does not interpret this as failure. Release is gradual. Healing unfolds over time. You are not weak for needing help. You are human. Love honors your humanity. Stay here for a moment. Notice what you are holding right now. You do not need to name it clearly. You do not need to release it perfectly. Allow yourself to stop gripping, even slightly. Let support meet you where you are. Love remains with you, carrying what you cannot, steady and gentle, unafraid of your weight. As you begin to release the burdens you were never meant to carry alone, another truth slowly comes into view. Beneath the weight you have been holding is a tenderness you have learned to hide. Weakness, not the kind that disappears with effort, but the kind that remains even when you try your best. Love does not turn away from this weakness. It moves closer. You may have learned to see weakness as something dangerous, something that invites disappointment, judgment, or loss of control. Over time, you may have learned to cover it with strength, with responsibility, with endurance. Love understands why you did this. Weakness has not always felt safe. Trusting God with your weakness does not begin with exposing everything at once. It begins with allowing weakness to exist without immediately correcting it. You are not asked to fix what feels fragile. You are asked to stop hiding from it. There may be resistance within you at the thought of trusting weakness to someone else. You may believe that weakness must be managed privately. Love does not force trust. It invites it gently, knowing that vulnerability grows slowly. You may notice that weakness shows up in ways you did not expect. Fatigue that does not lift. Emotions that surface unexpectedly. Doubt that lingers. Love does not label these experiences as failures. They are signals of humanity, not deficiency. There may be fear that if you allow weakness to be seen, you will lose respect, safety, or worth. Love does not confirm this fear. It offers a different reality. Weakness does not reduce your worth. It reveals where care is needed. Trusting God with your weakness means believing that you are not valued only when you are strong. This belief may feel unfamiliar if you have been praised mainly for endurance. Love invites you to rest in a worth that does not fluctuate with capacity. You may feel uncomfortable acknowledging weakness because it contradicts the image you hold of yourself. Love does not ask you to abandon your identity. It asks you to expand it. You are allowed to be capable and vulnerable at the same time. There may be moments when weakness feels overwhelming, as though it threatens to take over everything. Love does not step back during these moments. It remains steady, offering presence rather than correction. You may notice that trusting weakness requires releasing control. Control has often served as protection. Love does not shame you for holding tightly. It gently offers safety so you can loosen your grip. Trusting God with your weakness also means allowing yourself to stop explaining it. You do not need to justify why you are tired, uncertain, or struggling. Love does not require explanation to remain close. There may be grief as you acknowledge how much you have been compensating for weakness by pushing yourself. Love allows this grief. Recognizing the cost of survival can be painful, even when it leads to healing. You may notice that weakness feels exposed when you stop managing it. This exposure can feel frightening. Love does not rush you through it. Trust is built through repeated experiences of being held, not through sudden surrender. There may be fear that weakness will disappoint God. Love gently reframes this fear. Weakness does not disappoint. It invites compassion. You are not expected to be strong to be accepted. You may find that trusting weakness involves allowing rest without guilt. Rest that is not earned. Rest that does not require productivity. Love supports this rest, knowing how deeply you need it. There may be moments when weakness surfaces unexpectedly, even after you thought you had moved past it. Love does not see this as regression. Healing is not linear. Weakness can reappear as deeper layers are reached. You may notice that trusting weakness changes how you speak to yourself. Harshness softens slightly. Expectations loosen. Love encourages this gentleness. You are learning to treat yourself with the same care you long to receive. Trusting God with your weakness does not mean weakness disappears. It means it is no longer hidden. Love does not erase vulnerability. It holds it. There may be fear that if you stop resisting weakness, it will define you. Love does not allow this fear to become truth. Weakness is part of you, not the whole of you. You may feel relief simply hearing that weakness is allowed, that you are not disqualified by it. Love offers this relief without condition. There may be moments when trusting weakness feels like surrendering dignity. Love restores dignity by honoring honesty. You are dignified not because you are strong, but because you are human. You may notice that weakness often carries wisdom, teaches limits. It reveals what matters. Love listens to this wisdom without dismissing it. There may be times when you feel tempted to hide weakness again because vulnerability feels risky. Love does not punish retreat. It remains available whenever you are ready to return. Trusting God with your weakness also means trusting that you do not need to become someone else to be loved. You are not required to improve before being held. You may feel sadness for the times you believed weakness made you unworthy. Love allows this sadness. It does not rush you toward resolution. There may be moments when weakness brings tears without clear reason. Love does not demand explanation. Emotion does not need to be justified to be valid. You may notice that trusting weakness creates space for healing that strength could not reach. Love works gently within this openness. There may be fear that weakness will make you dependent. Love does not equate dependence with loss. Interdependence is part of being human. You may find that trusting weakness deepens your connection. Authenticity invites closeness. Love does not connect through performance. There may be days when weakness feels heavier than others. Love remains consistent through fluctuation. You are not abandoned on hard days. Trusting God with your weakness does not mean you stop striving entirely. It means striving is no longer fueled by fear alone. Support changes how effort feels. You may notice that weakness invites patience. Healing moves at a gentler pace. Love does not hurry what needs care. There may be moments when you realize that weakness has been present all along, waiting to be acknowledged. Love has been present too. You may feel gratitude for the relief that comes from no longer hiding. Love receives this gratitude quietly. You may still feel unsure how to live with weakness openly. Love does not require mastery. Trust grows through experience, not perfection. You are allowed to be tired. You are allowed to be uncertain. You are allowed to need help. Stay here for a moment. Let weakness rest in the open without judgment. Let yourself be held without needing to prove anything. Love remains with you, not despite your weakness, but within it, steady and unafraid. As you allow your weakness to remain visible, something unexpected begins to unfold. Strength does not arrive the way you once imagined. It does not come as a surge of confidence or a sudden solution. Instead, it appears quietly, almost unnoticed, woven gently into moments that feel ordinary. Love does not overwhelm you with power. It meets you with steadiness. You may have learned to associate strength with force, with pushing through, with holding everything together no matter the cost. Now, as weakness is allowed to exist, strength reveals a different nature. It does not compete with weakness, supports it. You may notice strength showing up as the ability to continue without urgency. Where once you felt pressure to fix everything, now there is permission to move slowly. This slowness is not stagnation. It is strength that knows rushing would cause harm. God's strength often appears as patience, not the kind that suppresses emotion, but the kind that allows time to pass without panic. You may find yourself less frantic, less desperate for immediate answers. This calm does not mean you no longer care. It means you are no longer carrying everything alone. There may be moments when strength feels like nothing more than getting through the day without collapsing under the weight of your thoughts. Love honors this strength. Survival without despair is not small. You may notice that strength shows up as gentleness toward yourself. Where you once criticized your weakness, you now respond with understanding. This gentleness is not self-indulgence. It is strength that refuses to deepen wounds. God's strength often appears as steadiness rather than intensity. It does not rush in with dramatic change. It remains consistent, supporting you quietly as you move through uncertainty. This steadiness can be easy to overlook, but it is reliable. You may notice that strength shows up when you choose rest without guilt. Rest that does not need to be justified. This rest is not laziness. It is wisdom supported by care. There may be moments when strength feels like the ability to say no, to stop overextending, to honor limits. Love does not see boundaries as barriers. It sees them as strength expressed through self-respect. God's strength often appears when you allow yourself to feel without being consumed. You experience emotion without drowning in it. This capacity does not come from control. It comes from support. You may find that strength shows up as quiet resilience, not the kind that celebrates endurance publicly, but the kind that continues privately. Love sees this resilience clearly, even when no one else does. There may be days when strength feels subtle, almost invisible, You may wonder if anything has changed at all. Love invites you to notice how you are still here, still breathing, still open. This persistence is strength working quietly. You may notice that strength appears when you stop fighting your weakness. Resistance often drains energy. Acceptance allows strength to flow naturally. God's strength does not remove vulnerability, protects it. You are not armored against pain. You are supported within it. You may feel strength when you allow yourself to ask for help, even internally. Acknowledging need requires courage. Love honors this courage. There may be moments when strength feels like silence rather than speech. You no longer feel compelled to explain or defend yourself. This silence is not withdrawal. It is groundedness. God's strength often appears as clarity about what truly matters. As unnecessary concerns fall away, your focus narrows gently. This clarity does not eliminate complexity. It simplifies priority. You may notice that strength shows up when you choose presence over productivity. You remain with what is rather than escaping into constant doing. This presence is strength rooted in trust. There may be days when strength feels like accepting that today will be imperfect. You release unrealistic expectations. Love sees this acceptance as maturity. God's strength does not push you beyond your limits. It respects them. Strength that ignores limits causes harm. Strength that honors limits preserves life. You may notice that strength appears when you forgive yourself for being human. This forgiveness does not excuse harm. It releases unnecessary punishment. There may be moments when strength feels like stability within emotion. You feel deeply, yet you remain anchored. This anchoring is not something you create. It is something provided. God's strength often appears as reassurance that does not need words. A sense of being held. A quiet confidence that you are not alone. You may find that strength shows up as the ability to wait without despair. Waiting no longer feels like abandonment. It feels supported, even if it remains uncomfortable. There may be times when strength feels like trust in small steps rather than big leaps. Love does not ask you to jump. It walks with you at your pace. God's strength often appears as acceptance that healing takes time. You stop demanding immediate transformation. This patience is strength that understands process. You may notice that strength shows up when you allow yourself to stop performing strength. You no longer need to appear capable all the time. Love holds you without expectation. There may be days when strength feels like simply staying present, not escaping, not numbing, remaining with your experience. This presence is courage supported by care. God's strength does not shout. It whispers. It reassures quietly. It steadies rather than overwhelms. You may find that strength appears in your breathing, in the way your body slowly relaxes. These physical signs matter. Love works through your body as well as your spirit. There may be moments when strength feels like acceptance of mystery. You no longer need to solve everything. You allow some things to remain unresolved. God's strength often appears when you choose honesty over optimism. You acknowledge difficulty without losing connection. You may notice that strength shows up when you feel less alone with your thoughts. Even if nothing has changed externally, companionship alters experience. There may be fear that quiet strength is not enough. Love reassures you that loud strength was never the goal. Sustainable strength is gentle. God's strength does not rush your healing. It does not pressure your faith. It remains patient, knowing that true restoration cannot be forced. You may feel gratitude for this quieter strength, even if it feels unfamiliar. Love receives this gratitude softly. There may be moments when you realize that strength has been present longer than you thought. It was simply overshadowed by effort and fear. You may notice that strength allows you to rest more deeply. Sleep comes easier. Tension loosens. These are not small changes. God's strength often appears as assurance that you are enough as you are. Not because you are strong, but because you are loved. You may find that strength shows up as hope that does not depend on outcomes. Hope rooted in presence rather than promise. There may be days when strength feels distant again. Love does not withdraw. Quiet strength returns gently, again and again. You are not required to feel powerful to be supported. You are not required to overcome weakness to receive care. Stay here for a moment. Notice the subtle strength that is already holding you. It does not demand attention. It does not ask to be named. Love remains with you, offering strength that is quiet, faithful, and gentle enough to carry you without harm. As you begin to notice God's strength appearing in quiet, gentle ways, something within you starts to change almost without effort. Faith no longer feels tight or strained. It no longer feels like something you must hold together carefully. Instead, it begins to breathe. This breathing is subtle. It does not arrive with excitement or certainty. It arrives with ease. You may notice that faith no longer feels like a weight pressing on your chest. The heaviness that once accompanied belief begins to loosen. You are not forcing yourself to trust. You are not reminding yourself to believe. Faith begins to exist naturally again, not because everything makes sense, but because pressure has eased. There was a time when faith felt like responsibility, like something you had to maintain, protect, or prove. Now, as strength supports you quietly, faith begins to feel less demanding. Love does not require constant attention. It allows faith to rest and move freely. You may notice that faith feels calmer, not dramatic, not urgent, simply present. This calm does not mean you are indifferent. It means you are no longer bracing yourself. Faith that can breathe does not rush. It does not panic when questions arise. It remains steady even when uncertainty remains. You may find that faith no longer depends on how you feel emotionally. On days when you feel tired, faith remains. On days when you feel uncertain, faith remains. It is no longer fragile because it is no longer being forced into a shape it cannot sustain. Faith that can breathe again often feels quieter than before. It does not announce itself loudly. It does not demand expression. Love does not require visible enthusiasm. Faith that is allowed to breathe often lives beneath the surface, steady and unafraid. You may notice that faith becomes more forgiving toward itself. You stop judging your belief for not being strong enough or clear enough. Love encourages this forgiveness. Faith does not need to be corrected constantly. It needs space. There may be moments when you realize that faith feels less like effort and more like trust. Trust that does not require explanation. Trust that does not need to be defended. This trust feels gentle, but it is resilient. You may notice that faith breathes more easily when you stop monitoring it. When you stop checking whether you are believing correctly or enough. Love does not measure faith by consistency. It values sincerity. Faith that can breathe again often feels less anxious about the future. You may still think about what comes next, but the urgency softens. Love does not remove concern entirely. It removes panic. You may find that faith no longer needs certainty to survive. Questions may still exist, but they no longer threaten belief. Faith breathes alongside mystery without suffocating. There may be relief in noticing that faith has not disappeared during this long season. It has simply been waiting for pressure to lift. Love does not force faith back to life. It creates conditions where faith can rest and return naturally. You may notice that faith becomes more embodied. It shows up in how you breathe, how you rest, how you move through your day. Love does not limit faith to thoughts or words. Faith lives in the body as well. There may be moments when faith feels like quiet reassurance rather than conviction, a sense of being accompanied. Love values reassurance over certainty in this season. You may notice that faith feels more patient with itself. It does not demand immediate growth. It allows itself to unfold slowly. Love supports this pace. Faith that can breathe again often becomes less focused on outcomes. You stop expecting belief to guarantee specific results. Love does not promise control. Promises presence. You may feel that faith now allows you to be human without guilt. You can feel tired, confused, or unsure without fearing that belief will collapse. Love holds faith steady through fluctuation. There may be days when faith feels stronger and days when it feels faint. Faith that can breathe does not disappear on faint days. It rests and returns. You may notice that faith feels safer now. Not because life is safer, but because belief is no longer tied to performance. Love does not withdraw when faith feels small. Faith that can breathe again often brings a gentle hope, not a loud optimism, a quiet openness, hope that does not demand fulfillment. Love allows this hope to exist without pressure. You may notice that faith feels less defensive. You no longer feel the need to justify belief to yourself or others. Love does not require defense. There may be moments when faith surprises you, a moment of calm during difficulty, a sense of steadiness when you expected fear. Love offers these moments quietly. Faith that can breathe again often feels integrated with life rather than separate from it. You no longer compartmentalize belief. Love moves with you through ordinary moments. You may notice that faith becomes less about answers and more about relationship. Love does not require understanding to remain close. There may be gratitude arising gently, not because everything is resolved, but because something feels supported. Love receives this gratitude softly. Faith that can breathe again allows you to stop bracing for disappointment. You may still experience difficulty, but you are no longer constantly preparing for collapse. Love provides steadiness. You may notice that faith now makes room for rest. You no longer feel guilty for pausing. Love honors rest as part of faith, not its opposite. There may be moments when faith feels like quiet acceptance. Acceptance does not mean approval of pain. It means releasing resistance to reality. Love supports this release. Faith that can breathe again often feels less fragile. It does not shatter when challenged. It bends gently and returns to center. You may notice that faith now coexists peacefully with doubt. Doubt no longer dominates or threatens. It becomes one voice among many. Love remains present through all of it. There may be times when faith feels almost invisible. Love reassures you that invisibility does not mean absence. Faith does not need to be felt strongly to be real. You may find that faith now allows you to trust small moments rather than large promises. Love meets you in the present, not just the future. Faith that can breathe again often feels like relief in the body. Shoulders soften. Breathing deepens. Love works through physical calm as well as emotional reassurance. There may be days when faith feels distant again. Love does not withdraw. Breathing faith returns gently when pressure eases. You may notice that faith feels more aligned with who you are now. It no longer asks you to return to who you were. Love honors growth. Faith that can breathe again does not rush toward closure. It settles into steadiness, preparing the way for rest rather than resolution. You may feel ready slowly for a gentle closing, not because everything is finished, but because you are no longer striving. Faith that can breathe again does not demand that you move forward. It allows you to rest where you are. Stay here for a moment. Let faith rise and fall naturally, like breathing. There is no need to control it. Love remains with you, steady and gentle, allowing faith to breathe freely again, without pressure, without fear. Now that faith has begun to breathe again, there is nothing left for you to hold together, nothing left to prove, nothing left to resolve. This moment is not asking anything from you. It is simply offering rest. Love does not need you to arrive anywhere else. You are already here. You may feel your body settling slightly, even if your mind still wanders. That is okay. You do not need to guide yourself into calm. Calm is not a requirement. Love meets you exactly as you are, not as you wish you felt. There is no pressure to understand everything that has unfolded in this journey. You are not expected to remember every insight or hold on to every feeling. What matters has already been received. What can fade is allowed to fade. You have carried enough for now. Questions can rest. Effort can soften. Faith does not need to stay alert. Can lie down gently, knowing it is not alone. If your eyes are closing, let them close. If they remain open, that is fine too. There is no right way to be here. Love does not measure your rest. It simply provides it. You may notice your breathing slowing naturally, or you may not notice anything at all. Both are acceptable. Rest does not need to be felt to be real. Nothing about you needs to change in this moment. You do not need to become more peaceful, more trusting, or more certain. You are already held without condition. There is a quiet assurance being offered now. You are safe to stop striving. Safe to stop evaluating yourself. Safe to stop watching over everything. Even the parts of you that still feel tired are welcome here. Even the parts that feel unsure. Love does not wait for wholeness before offering care. You are not behind. You are not late. You have not missed anything essential. This season unfolded the way it needed to, even if it was painful, even if it was long. You do not need to look ahead. Tomorrow does not need your attention right now. It will come with its own support. For now, this moment is enough. There is no task waiting at the end of this rest. You are not resting in order to prepare. You are resting because rest itself is allowed. If sleep comes, let it come gently. If it does not, allow your body to remain still without judgment. Love remains present either way. You are not forgotten when you grow quiet. You are not forgotten when you stop listening. You are not forgotten when you rest. Nothing you are feeling creates distance here. Nothing you are not feeling disqualifies you. You do not need to hold on to faith consciously now. Faith can hold you. You do not need to keep believing actively. Love remains even when belief drifts into quiet. There is a steadiness beneath everything you have experienced. It has not left you at any point. It does not leave now. Let the words fade if they need to. Let sound become background. Let awareness soften. You are allowed to drift. Allowed to rest, allowed to be carried. There is nothing more to do. You are safe. You are seen. You are loved.